everyone, it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be tier ranking every book series that I've ever read. This was not my idea. This is a video that Hannah over at A Clockwork Reader did recently. I'll link it down below for you guys, but I had no clue what it was. I watched her video. I never heard of this tier ranking thing, so that is when I knew I am not hip and or cool. I am not a youngin' anymore, even though I'm 24 years old and I can't stop wearing bows in my hair, whatever. Like, I literally look like a 6-year-old right now, but I digress. The point is, watched the video, lots of fun, and I was like, cool. And then so many of you guys have been requesting that I do a tier ranking video. Like, I've been asking for a lot of video requests recently because I'm trying to, as everyone is going through some rough times right now, I'm trying to do the content that you guys want to see the most, and this has been requested so much, so here it is. I also think that I'm going to do different genres in the future. I think I'm going to do all the fantasy books that I've read, all the contemporary books that I've read, historical fiction. Please let me know if that would be something that you would be interested in as well. If you don't know, this tier ranking thing is apparently like something that a lot of people do. Like, honestly, I feel like such a loser because I didn't know anything about it, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, counting's hard, tiers, and you're just ranking the books within those tiers. So the very top tier is the God tier, then you have the Demigod tier, Great tier, Good tier, Okay tier, Bad tier, and the Trash tier. And I'm just gonna be ranking every single book series that I've ever read accordingly. I think there were like 55 book series that I've read, which is crazy. Now, what I decided to do, my criteria for that is duologies, trilogies, anything that has multiple books, those count. I only counted ones where I have read more than one of the books in the series. So if I have any that I started and didn't end up continuing with, those aren't on here, but I also don't have any where like only one of the books is out, those aren't on here, or else there would be like 100 books. Like, it would be a lot. I needed to manage it somehow. So yeah, let's get to it. Hello, welcome back. So I changed the camera angle and moved my screen and everything so then I could still like look, but we'll see how that works. Now there's cat hair in my eye. So I guess I'm just gonna start, like, how do I start? Do I go book by book? Let's go book by book. So Fall of Giants by Ken Follett, that is, I haven't finished it yet. I've only read the first 2 books. That one's God tier. I'm torn between Demigod tier and God tier. I'm so bad at making decisions. This is like my worst nightmare. I am so bad at decisions. You can ask Hannah or Zoe. I'm terrible. I never do it. Oh God, this is gonna be bad. So it's an adult historical fiction series. Super cool. The first series is World War I, and then the second one you follow the same family but different generation in World War II, and then Cold War in the last one. I've only read the first 2. I actually want to reread the second one. They're huge books, but I super loved that first one, but I read it a long time ago. I don't know if I feel the same, but I feel like I would, and I liked it a lot, and yeah, it's one of my favorite books of all time, so I'm gonna say a soft God tier. I don't know, I hate decisions. Selection by Kiera Cass. This is an interesting one because it's one that, once again, haven't read in so long. I read it when I first started booktube and I fell in love. My reading tastes have changed a lot since then, but I feel like for the nostalgia's sake, and also like it's just a guilty pleasure good read, I want to say this one's Great tier. I don't think that it's like the best book ever, but it was super enjoyable. Like, I ate that shit up. It was good. The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, I think once again would be Great tier. I liked that one a lot. One that I read a long time ago. Super cool concept, and I think it was executed really well, and I liked how this series progressed. I didn't actually ever end up reading The Darkest Legacy. I unhauled it because I kind of lost interest in it, but I think if I reread those books now, I would still enjoy them a lot. So I think Great tier is a good place to put those. Woo! Decisions being made. We are making decisions here today. Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger. Honestly, I forgot that I read this, but it was good. That one was good. Like, solid read. I feel like if there was a tier in between good and okay, I would put that one there because obviously it was a little bit forgettable for me. I read the first one and I also read the second one because it is in here. I thought I had only read the first one, but I read the second one too. So Don't know when that happened. Don't remember anything of it. What's Left of Me by Kat Zhang. This is a throwback. I got this book on Book Outlet, the very first order that I ever placed, where I spent my student loans on books. And yeah, that was Don't Do What I Do, Spend Your Money Wisely, Save Your Student Loan. I'm so stupid I didn't know you had to pay it back. Like, past Hailey is such a dumb bitch. What's Left of Me was about like this girl and her twin and like, I don't know. That's like, I'm torn between okay and bad. Like, that's once again, I feel like I wish there was a middle. I don't like the like having to make decisions. Whenever I do personality quizzes, I'm like always in the middle. I can't do it. I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna go with bad. The other problem with this video is I don't remember anything about books, so that's a problem. Cinder by Marissa Meyer. So the Lunar Chronicles series. I like this series a lot. I don't think I like it as much as everyone else does, but I do think it's a solid series. I wish there was a tier in between great and good, because that's exactly where this one would fall. I think that this one, I'll say it's great. Like, I think I liked all the books and I continued with them and they were really well executed. So I do like that one. Winger by Andrew Smith. That's a duology that I read a long time ago. Once again, I actually read this one with my dad when I first started BookTube. And I think it was another one that I got on Book Outlet. But this one I'm going to put in the good tier. I liked it a lot. Liked the message of the story. It was a rugby player. Didn't expect to like it, but I liked it a lot. Ruby, read by Kirsten Gear. Controversially, I'm gonna put it in the trash tier. I didn't like that book at all. I don't know, like, I know it was originally in German and I've heard so many people say that it's a lot better in German, but unfortunately I can't read or speak German, so I'll never get to experience it as it was meant to be experienced, and that makes me sad. But as it was, the translation, I didn't like the story at all. I didn't find there to be a plot line, and that was just what, like, turned me off from it entirely. Splintered by A.G. Howard. I have nothing in the demigod tier or the okay tier. Splintered, I think overall that series would go in the okay tier, but I do like what it did with Wonderland. I thought that was well done. However, no, I am gonna put in the good tier. I'm not gonna have anything in okay or demigod, I guess, because I'm either extremes or I don't want to make a decision. But I think that it is a solid Wonderland retelling, so I think that it does belong there. It was cheesy and corny at times, but getting past that, I think it was good, at least in my personal opinion. Like, all of this is in my personal opinion, and so many of you guys are gonna be like, your personal opinion is wrong, but whatever. Obsidian by, who's it by? Jennifer L. Armentrout. Didn't know I had read more than one of this book. That's also another trash one. It's like aliens and stuff. Just not for me. I read it because there was so much hype surrounding it, but in hindsight, it's not a book that I was ever going to enjoy. But at that time, when I first got into BookTube and really got into reading, I felt like I had to finish every single series that I started. I was like, well, I have to. I started it, so we have to continue. But now, obviously, I don't even do that anymore, but I would, like, read these series even though I didn't like them. Anna Dressed in Blood I'm gonna put in the bad tier. That's by Kendara Blake. That's a duology, and it was ghosts and stuff, and, like, I don't think it was terrible, but I didn't really like it, and I did read both of them, but yeah, it was just, I don't know, it was like a weird twist on Supernatural. Ugly is by Scott Westerfeld. I loved this series when I first read it, and I first read it before I ever liked reading, because yes, there was a time when I didn't like reading, but I thought it was so good, and I'm scared to reread it, which is why they did another installment of the series last year. I never read it because I'm too afraid to, but I think that this would definitely be... I'm so hesitant to put stuff in God tier, but then I also don't want to put it in demigod tier, so like, we're struggling here. I think that I will put this one in God tier. With my memories of it, I became so absorbed in that world. I might not like it quite as much if I read it again, but we're just gonna go with how I felt about it then. Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi is next. I liked this series a lot when I first started it, and so many of these, I don't know how I would feel about them nowadays, so I'm just gonna go off of my memory for them. I'm gonna like stop saying that because that's so annoying. Stop it, Hailey. God. But the case with Shatter Me is a little bit interesting because there were new installments added to the series, and I did read them, and I stopped reading them because I wasn't enjoying them. So Judging the series as a whole, I would say that this one falls into the great tier for me. I think it may have been Demigod, but I think with the new installments that I didn't quite enjoy as much, it got like pushed down a little bit. The Diviners by Libra is for sure God tier. That was a quick decision. That one's easy. 1920s New York, ghost stories, like not a story that I would think I would love as much as I do, but like it's so good. Atmospheric, the writing is incredible, the use of perspective, oh, so good. I haven't read the final book yet, King of Crows. I do have it and I will read it at some point soon, hopefully, but so many characters and I love them all. It's just so good. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. I have fond memories of this one. I remember Noah Shaw, I like fell in love with him. And I think for that reason, I gotta start putting stuff in the Demigod tier. I'm like looking at the other books that I have to come and I'm like, none of these are Demigod. Yeah, I guess a couple of them could be Demigod for me. I don't know. Struggles. Ugh. I'm going to put The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer in... Like, this one I find complicated because there is a sub-series that was made about Noah, and what was it? The Becoming of Noah Shaw, I think, was the first one, and I read the first one, didn't like it at all. So I think for that reason, good tier is where we're gonna stay, but I'm really hesitant on that. I might move that. I don't know. Moving on, Saga by Brian Vaughan. I don't even remember who's the author of this. This is a graphic novel series that I started reading, and I'm gonna put it in the okay tier. I don't think it's really something for me, but because they were graphic novels and I'd heard a lot about them, I was continuing with the series. I think I got 3 in and then I stopped. To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This individually, I think I would put the books in good or great, but as a whole, I think that it's Demigod, maybe? Like, why am I like this? The thing is, no, I'm gonna put it in great. Why do I do this to myself? But I love the character development over the course of that whole trilogy. However, I wouldn't really say it's like a favorite book of mine, and I feel like Demigod and God, I want to be some of my favorite books. I don't know. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. There, Demigod. Yay! I haven't read that in a long time, and I know it's kind of controversial. I don't know why. A Court of Thorns and Roses I'm going to put in the same spot. There's certain books in each series that I love, but then there's other books that I don't love so much. I haven't even finished Throne of Glass. I haven't read Kingdom of Ash yet. Maybe I'll do that now. Who knows? But we'll see. Harry Potter, God tier. I love Harry Potter. Honestly, I think Harry Potter is one of those books where every time I read it, honestly, it's just like a feeling you get, and those books that give you a certain feeling, I live for that. So for me, that puts it in the God tier. And I don't even really have that much nostalgia attached to it because I only read it like fairly recently. I have more nostalgia attached to the movies, but I do still think that it is a magical series in more ways than one. That was gonna be such a beautiful quote, and then I just butchered it because I can't speak. Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rosh. Loved the world for this story. I think that this one would fall into the... This is so hard. This is why I didn't want to do this. Like, I cannot make decisions. They're so difficult. Honestly, that's one of my biggest flaws, and there's so many, but like one of my biggest ones is I won't make a decision. People are like, where do you want to eat? And I'm like, I don't care. And like, genuinely, I don't care. I'm genuinely so apathetic because I don't want to make the decision. I guess it's like easygoing, but like I'm too easygoing. Anyways, let's not analyze my personality today. I'm gonna put Snow Like Ashes in the great tier. No, I'm gonna put it in the good tier. Yeah, that's kind of like a similar situation to the Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. I think both of those books I have some fond memories of, but I don't think that, like, looking back, I do see that I think I hyped them up a little bit more in my mind than they're worth. I think they're like solid 4 out of 5-star reads. I would say good and great, those are like 4 stars, although some of the goods are 3. I'm not going to try and assign a rating to them. Why am I complicating things more for myself? The Fifth Wave by Ricky Yancey. This goes into the okay tier. I liked the first book. It freaked me the fuck out, like scared me to death. The second book, actually, I feel like it would scare me even more if I read it nowadays, but I digress. The second book didn't like so much, but I do think that that one overall wasn't bad. It was interesting. Just One Day by Gail Forman. I like that a lot. Really enjoy that duology. Don't know if I want to do Demigod or Great. Demigod or Great. Demigod or great? I don't know. I can't decide. Why am I like this? I'm going to put that one in the great tier. The great tier is going to be the biggest because it's kind of like my middle, like these are solid books. Prisoner of Night and Fog by Anne Blankman. I'm going to put that one in the demigod tier. I feel like so many people need to read that duology. It's super cool. It's World War II historical fiction and the girl is Hitler's niece and she's like learning that obviously he's not a good person. Super fascinating mystery going on there. I like that a lot. The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I'm torn between God tier and demigod tier, but I think that I'm going to go with demigod tier. Oh, I hate myself so much right now. I think it is a great series. I just don't think it's like my #1 top series. I think that certain parts of it were a little bit slow and I didn't enjoy as much as others, but overall I did really love it. Legend by Marie Lu, I'm gonna put in the good tier. That was like a solid trilogy. Definitely not one that really stands out in my mind apart from other dystopians. I think it's just kind of like there. Like they had a new book come out for that series as well, Rebel, and I wasn't really interested in reading that. I was kind of done with it. Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. First book, super good. Second book, meh. But this one will also go in the good tier. The first book is definitely really cool. It's a really cool, dark retelling. Very dark. Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I'm gonna put this one in the great tier. I like this series a lot. I need to continue with it. What else is new? That's who I am as a person. Why? I don't know. But it's like a mystery going on. So it's a princess and there are two people who are following her because she fled on the day of her wedding. She was like, not really down for this. And then there's an assassin who is sent to kill her who's following her. And then also the prince she was set to marry. You don't know who's who until the end. So that's fun. The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Adye. Good tier. Like solid. It was good. A solid read. An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. I will put in the great tier. I read the first 2 books and I want to continue. The last one's coming out soon-ish, relatively soon, but I think that I'll need to reread again. I do remember it being really cool though, and it gave me a nightmare, so fun times for everyone. Percy Jackson. I struggle with Percy Jackson a lot because on the one hand I like it, but on the other hand I'm like, meh. So I think Percy Jackson I'm gonna put in the great. I need between great and good again. But I'll put it in the great tier because it is a super enjoyable series. I just don't think I read it like at the right age. I think if I had read it when I was younger, I would have liked it a lot more. Three Dark Crowns by Kendara Blake, I'm gonna put in the okay tier. It's one that I think in theory, the concept I absolutely love. I'm in love with it. But if I actually think about the execution of it, I was bored throughout a lot of the book and the second book as well. And that's why I ended up not continuing with the third book. So I think it's fair to be there. Demigod tier for Illuminae. I meant to say Illuminae, but instead I said it backwards. But Illuminae I liked a lot, kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time. And I think it's fitting there. Six of Crows, God tier for sure. Love, love, love. So good. I love Leigh Bardugo and I just, oh, Six of Crows is so good. I just love it. Those characters. Every Heart a Doorway. I have such varying opinions for the books in the Wayward Children series. I kind of want to put them in the bad tier, but I think I'm gonna go with okay. They're all right. Like, I have mixed feelings about them all and I will continue because they're so short, even though them being so short is the issue. It gets a book, you know, closer to my Goodreads goal. City of Bones, I'm gonna put in the great tier. That's another one where I struggle with it as well because I have so many memories of loving it, but then the extra 3 books I didn't quite enjoy as much, and I just, yeah, I have controversial opinions about that one. Hunger Games, God tier. I think the Hunger Games is fantastic. It's genius, it's innovative, it's scary, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Caraval, back to the great tier. I like that series a lot. Like, I know it's one that's pretty cliche. I don't know, I tend to have some like out there opinions, but then also some not out there opinions. I'm kind of all over the place, but Caraval is one that I had a lot of fun reading those books. Still need to read the last one. Why am I like this? I don't know. Scythe by Neil Shusterman. That one, I think I'm gonna put it in the great tier, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. I liked the finale, didn't love it. I think it's a super cool series, and like it's at the higher end of the great tier. These are so I hate reading books. It's so difficult for me. The Goose Girl by Shannon Hale. That is a demigod tier. Love the Books of Bayern series. They all follow different characters, and they're loosely based on different kind of obscure grim fairy tales. And I love a good retelling, and Enna Burning is my favorite, but the Goose Girl, like as a whole, that series is super cool. The audiobooks are fantastic for it. Everland by Wendy Spinelli. This one, good tier. It's solid. It's a bit on the younger end of YA, but I like the steampunk aspect to it, and I like the fact that it's a retelling and it has an interesting, don't read it nowadays actually because it has to do with illness. I just remembered that, but what was I trying to say? It brings the retelling aspect into it in really interesting ways. So there's Peter Pan, Wizard of Oz, and Alice in Wonderland. So like the golden trio. Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. This one goes in the great tier. No, the good tier. I think the good tier. I like that series a lot. Higher end of the good tier, I would say. How many times am I gonna say I like that series a lot? Like, oh my god. Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I'm gonna put in the demigod tier. I do like that series. I have, once again, mixed opinions about the like books as individuals, but I think overall I had a lot of fun reading it. Actually, no, I kind of want to put that one in the great tier. I'm just like looking at what company the books are in, and I'm like, does that make sense? And sometimes it doesn't, so then I move it. That's my explanation. The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert, I'm actually reading the sequel to it right now, so this is kind of a little bit hasty, but I think this one also belongs in the great tier. Loved the first book, and I am enjoying the second book right now. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. That one gets demigod tier for me. It's, once again, one where I'm not sure how I would feel about it if I read it nowadays, but in my memory, demigod. A Great and Terrible Beauty by Liv Bray. That one gets good. It's solid. I liked it. How many times am I going to repeat myself in this damn video? Trash tier Forevermore. I read that after Twilight, and oh, I don't have Twilight in here. I thought I saved the cover for Twilight. Okay, well, Twilight would be trash tier, but whatever. But Evermore, I just read because I wanted like more of that at the time, and it's not good. Heartstopper, I think I would put in the okay tier. It doesn't stand out to me, that's the thing. Clockwork Angel, great tier. I did enjoy the Infernal Devices more than City of Bones, but not enough for it to be in the demigod tier. Eon by Alison Goodman, okay tier. I don't remember it, to be honest. Like, I kind of remember it, but I don't remember having strong feelings either way, which is why I'm putting it in the okay tier. Unearthly by Cynthia Hand. I would put this in the bad tier. The love triangle was so bad, and I think my ratings on Goodreads might be higher for these books, but like when I think back on it and I'm like, no. The Heroes of Olympus, is that what it's called? I don't remember. Is that what that series is called? Whatever. The second like Percy Jackson series, that one I would put in good. Did I enjoy it? Great. I guess it goes like, I have the same feelings about it pretty much as Percy Jackson. They should probably both be in the good tier, to be honest, but like I feel mean putting them there. I don't know, I just can't do it. Across the Universe by Beth Revis, good tier. That was a fun trilogy. I didn't like the last book that much, but I did enjoy the first two enough to be good. Incarnate by Jodi Meadows. This one I would say gets the good tier. There are certain things that I really love about that trilogy. I think it's super interesting, definitely unique, but certain things that I remember I'm kind of like, don't like that so much. And finally is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. This one I think goes in the great tier. As a whole, I enjoyed the series a lot. It's still going. I have A Conference of Birds. I just haven't read it yet. Is that what it's called? I don't even know anything anymore. But yeah, that I guess is my tier ranking. If I had included the series that I didn't continue with because I didn't like the first book, there would be so many more in bad and trash. It's just, I decided like pretty early on in my reading journey that I wasn't going to continue with series that I didn't like the first book with. There are certain exceptions to that, like Every Heart a Doorway, Three Dark Crowns, but the ones that are in the bad and trash tier are ones that I read way back in the day when I was like, we have to read all the books in a series, we have to do it. So I'm glad that I don't do that anymore. But yeah, this is my ranking. This is my personal opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sure so many of you are gonna disagree with a lot of my opinions, but it is what it is. I think this was actually a lot of fun. So if you guys do want to see a fantasy version, a historical fiction version, a contemporary version, I don't know what other genres there are in the world, but if you would like to see that, then please do let me know down below. Also, please let me know what books would be in your God tier. I would like to know what the books at the very top of your list of series, rather, that you have read, which series would be in your God tier. I really want to know, because I feel like a lot of you will have the same opinions, a lot of you might have differing opinions, I don't know. Let's just do something to occupy ourselves. I hope that you guys are still doing well and staying healthy and safe and staying inside as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video soon. Bye!